everyone. Thank you for joining 15 Minutes with Judi. Today, I'm so honored to be with Marilyn Lin, founding principal of Lotus Group International. Marilyn, it's wonderful to see you today.
So wonderful to be on here with you today too, Judi.
For those of you that don't know Marilyn, I'm sure it's a small number of you that don't know Marilyn, but Marilyn and I have had the opportunity to be professional and personal acquaintances for many years. Marilyn has spent her life helping companies transform. You have spent 15, am I right? 15 years at Salesforce?
Yes, almost.
You spent many years at Oracle, always involved in helping with transformational activities and really guiding strategic initiatives and being one of the absolute best chief of staffs I've ever seen in my career. So Marilyn, we're going to talk a little bit about that today and see what guidance we can give to some of the folks joining us.
Sounds great. I love it.
So one of the things I want to talk about, Marilyn, is transforming support. It's been a constant in our industry. I feel like support is one of those organizations that never rests. There's always transformation activities. And I think that'll be the case from now till the end of time, right? Change is inevitable. But if you're out and you're guiding, as you do with the Lotus Group and such, and you're talking to a support organization today, what is one of the things that you have your eye on and you think that they should be focused on as far as not a small shift, looking for some bolder shifts? What are some of the things that they should be focusing on right now, Marilyn?
So I think that one bold shift that every support team should look into and focus on right now is transforming support from the traditional cost center into a strategic driver of growth and revenue. I think support teams have a unique vantage point. They're at the front line of customer interactions. They understand the pain points that customers are experiencing. They can uncover opportunities during those interactions and also build relationships with the end users. And so I think the bold move is to elevate support beyond just the issue resolution and position themselves as a critical partner in the retention, expansion, and overall customer success. For instance, when you are empowering support teams with the right training and coaching to help them identify upsell and cross-sell opportunities as they're interacting directly to drive impact on the revenue. And at the same time, leveraging those customer insights that are coming through various support channels to help inform product development, marketing strategies, and also sales initiatives. So I think to make that shift, support leaders really need to look into equipping their teams with the strategic skills, training agents to think beyond the transactional problem solving and focus on delivering value-driven conversations. And then number two is tying those metrics to business outcomes. So going beyond the traditional KPIs like ticket volume and response time to include the retention rates, upsell impact, and also customer health scores. And then lastly, enable tools and AI. So using the technology to automate routine tasks so that teams can focus on the more impactful strategic work. And I'm just really passionate about helping support leaders and teams make this transition. I think that with the right mindset, skill set, and tools, support can really evolve into a growth engine for the business and create stronger customer relationships and also measurable revenue contributions. So I think this is a really exciting time for support, and I'm eager to see more teams embrace this bold shift.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. I'm intrigued by something that you mentioned there. You know, you can't have a conversation today without AI being first and foremost in the conversation, right? And you hear about it all day, every day. But I think you touched on something, training, the agents to be, or the support engineers, whatever the title is at a company. Having a more strategic view, having a more than just case in, case out kind of mentality, right? Mm-hmm. But as AI comes in and we're talking about, where should companies focus AI? Support has a list of initiatives, sales does, pro services, customer success. Everybody has, AI, desires and needs. But when we talk about the support engineers and the agents, How do you see the blending, and how can people help the agents understand, right? And we talked about this in the
Mhm.
past when it was self-service, right? Self-service is coming for your job, knowledge management's coming for your job. That didn't happen, right? We needed them more now than ever. But what's
Mhm.
the blending and what's the coaching and guiding you're helping companies on with, blending the technology with the agents and having those work well for the customer, but also for the agent themselves, right?
Mhm.
Some of your thoughts on that?
So, speaking to individual support agents and engineers, what I've learned over the years is that what draws them into the role and why they enjoy being in support is because it really starts off with how they like to problem solve and help others. I think with AI, it really is meant to um, for us to leverage this technology to enhance and not replace that human interaction. I think that it's still really key and important to have that with the customer experience. And so I think with automation, you can leverage it to handle repetitive tasks like data gathering or asking simple queries so that you can free up the agents to focus on those high value personalized interactions. And AI can also empower agents by providing real-time suggestions, doing sentiment analysis, and also providing context-driven responses. So I think that AI is not here to replace, just as you've talked about in the past, as new changes and technologies and processes come along. It's really here to help enhance the work being delivered and helping agents to focus in on the specific areas that still require that human interaction and further enhance the way that they need to problem solve and help the customers with their issues. For example, even with chatbots, right? I think that chatbots can only take the journey through to a certain level. For example, between support and product management and product engineering still requires that human touch where you do need someone to interact and convey the issues and work cross functionally with those teams to resolve the issues. And I don't think that you can lean on and rely on technology to do all of that.
Absolutely, you can't. At the end of the day, when you're in not crisis mode, but need mode, let's say, of needing support services of some type, it is the human interaction that becomes valuable, especially when the technology can't solve it. What are some of the cool AI uses you've seen in the customer experience, customer journey landscape so far? This is not something where you have to answer support logic just because we're on the phone. But tell me about some of the cool AI that you're seeing out there right now.
For me, I'm seeing where AI is really helping to, again, dive in to help handle and take on those very repetitive tasks and help relieve the effort and time it takes for the agent to go in and dig out the information, right? When
Well,
you've got content at companies saved and located all over the place, it's really much easier with AI being plugged into these various different platforms and content management systems to be able to determine where to pull in and find that information. So helping with, I would say, like the research part of it or getting to information where from prior cases and experiences, knowing that those set of solutions have helped resolved similar issues and cases, really help expediting a lot of that work that's needed in the past, where an agent would have to go in themselves and search and dig and hopefully find the piece of information that is relevant and also accurate, right? So I think a lot of that has helped more recently.
I think it'll be interesting as we watch, with everything going on with AI, the need more now than ever for understanding behaviors and getting to the right outcomes, but helping through the behavioral, right? Because
Mhm.
AI is going to have a while here before it can fully get to that point. And I think more and more support organizations will have to look at the different type of coaching that they'll need to do and training, because now more than ever, the people will augment what AI can do, and that's going to take behavioral coaching and behavioral management. And I think this will be interesting, especially when you think about support organizations that have run very lean for quite a while.
Mhm.
and haven't invested fully, let's say in training programs or enablement programs, this is going to add layers and layers of very challenging but interesting training opportunities. And I look forward to seeing what we as an industry do there.
Yeah, and speaking of training, for example, with SupportLogic's features and functionalities as well related to that is the more near real time of diving into the cases and interactions that support engineers and support agents have had with their customers and being able to call out the behaviors that are positive as well as the negative side to really provide more timely coaching. I think in the past where agent QA work was done was pretty haphazard in the sense that probably like once a month or once a quarter, managers go in and randomly select several cases per agent to review. And it really depends on which case they end up pulling out and how that interaction went. But instead, with leveraging tools like SupportLogic, you can really hone in on the specifics and dive into how well this agent is performing, what are their strengths, and then areas that they need to really work through and work on, whether it's technical skills or soft skills. I think that that helps a lot with regards to honing in on the training needs of the team.
Thank you for mentioning SupportLogic. We're proud of what we're doing, but I think it's still, even though we're 7 years old, getting the industry to wrap around. When I started in the industry, decades ago, QA was intended to be a coaching event. I think in time it became viewed as more of a punitive type of thing. You pulled those random cases, you were told what didn't go well or such. Meanwhile, you had 95 other cases that, went beautifully, right? So I think looking truly at the insights that you can get through the applications like SupportLogic are pretty key right now, because that data can be mined, as you mentioned early on, in so many ways. It can become opportunities to revamp your service. It can be opportunities to sell additional service or product. It can be used to improve the product overall, right? If we just open up that freeway of information and provide it to the other groups, right? Very
Absolutely.
So with your time, and again, long tenured career at again, places like Salesforce and Oracle, what are some of the things that you think made the biggest impact on the support organization? Is it back to basic things? I know we just talked about AI. We talked about potentially moving to become not viewed as a cost center. But if you had to walk in, what's the one thing you look around and you say, the support org, I can make an impact here? What do you focus on the most, and what are some of those things?
I love this question. So for me, I think that the secret sauce is really the culture of collaboration, empowerment, and continuous improvement. During our time working together at Salesforce, you really taught me that success came from ensuring support teams were aligned with the larger business goals and also equipped with the right tools and training to succeed. And of course, with a healthy helping of compassionate leadership as well. So for me, I would describe these key ingredients in creating this type of team culture. First, it's the cross-functional collaboration. When we were at the MuSelf support team, we really created that cross-functional relationship with product and engineering, customer success, training, and enablement, where we did the product support review sessions and really helped ensure that there were feedback loops built into the way the teams interacted on a more frequent basis and keeping each other really informed on how the product is evolving, what we're seeing on the support side, so that we're creating also actionable, prioritized ways of improving the product and solving for the customer experience and the needs of the customer, and really driving that voice of the customer interaction for us. The second, I would say, the empowerment. We really made sure that we were giving the agents the autonomy to solve their problems creatively and providing that training so that they can continuously upscale. I know one thing that you taught me was to make sure that we had regular check-ins with the team, not just direct reports or managers, but all the way down to ICs and interns, because they are our eyes and ears, and knowing how the tools and processes are working for them is really key and important. And I've really taken that with me as I've been leading support teams and working with clients as well, is that you need to understand how things are working on the ground and soliciting input and feedback, not just when you're working through a particular initiative, but it has to be continuous, that you're constantly providing this opportunity for people to come to you to share what's top of mind for them, and also to learn and understand ideas or suggestions that they have, and making sure that they know that they are part of the solution and they're not just being told that here's the new process or new tooling that they need to use and kind of pushing it out the door that way, but getting their feedback to make sure that that's all tied into the way that we're rolling things out in the change management and transformation side of things. And then lastly, I would say having that customer first mindset, making sure that our support engineers and support agents are fostering empathy and making customer success everyone's responsibility. I think those are the three key areas in creating that strong team culture. And I think that's really what drives the way that really truly impacts the way the support team needs to come together and work together.
You were a big part of my team, as you know, and I still look back fondly on the members of that team. I think about them probably more than I've thought about a lot of people who I've worked with over the years, because we did have something special and you were a big part of that. But it was a special team, and I think we had a beautiful culture there, and it showed in how they showed up for each other, for the customers and such. So I love that that's what you're focusing on, Marilyn, because we've always said it, right? Treat the employees right, and by default it's just going to ooze out of them, and they're going to treat the customers right. So it's special to hear that that's how you look at organizations when you go in. I think it's not often done, and it should be done a lot more in our industry.
I agree with you, Ray, and I think that it really shines through even over the years after both of us have left. We still have really strong, close ties with a lot of the team members on the MuSelf support team. And I think it's a testament to how you led the group and how you've taught me to lead the team as well.
Oh, thank you for that.